Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live here on Facebook, where we take a look at headlines from our city, our state, our country. We combine that with knowledge and questions that we have about our lives here in Puerto Vallarta, all with one specific goal: to enrich our lives here as a community of English speaking locals. Yes, English speaking locals. There's over 30,000, 40,000, I don't know how many, but the number is definitely high up there, according to information provided by the Consulate of the United States here in Puerto Vallarta. There's a ton of English speaking folk that live here year round or feel in our souls that we are locals. So, well, I live here year round. But whatever shoe fits you, if you find information here that benefits you, that inspires you, that makes you connect more intimately with what our city has to offer, then you've come to the right place. My name is Paco, and if this is the first time that you're joining us, it helps a great deal if you let us know but that you're new by writing the word new in your comments. That way we'll give you a proper welcome. Also, if you have something specific and important that you wish to comment on or share as it relates to our subject matter, it helps a great deal if you add a letter Q at the beginning of your comment. That way I go looking for those, and Luna goes looking for those, actually. And we try to answer as many questions as we possibly can. If we don't know the answer for something, we make it up. No, we don't. We absolutely do not make things up here. No, we don't. Today is Friday, August 27. It's the end of the week.
Thank God.
And of course, we never know if it's the end of the week or the beginning of the week, but who cares? We're here together to have a good time for a little while. So we have interesting news. Oh, fuck, I forgot to prepare the squirrels. Well, I'll save the squirrels for tomorrow. And I'll share them along with some show and tell that I have, because I went walking around the city yesterday and I took photographs of a couple of things that I had not seen before, and I want to share those with you. So I'll cook all that stuff for tomorrow's broadcast. Today, we have important good news, bad news, as always. And we also have our second neighborhood or colonia discussion. Today, we're going to talk about La López Mateos. López Mateos Colonia, which is a great up-and-coming colonia, in my opinion. If you've lived there, if you are interested in it, if you know somebody that lives in López Mateos, we'll be looking forward to reading your comments during the second half of the broadcast, which is when we will, as always, take a look at everybody else's comments. But first, let's take a quick look at the news and see what we have in store for today. The largest COVID-19 shipment to date has arrived in Jalisco with more than 557,000 doses of the Moderna vaccine that will be destined for the population's ages 18 through 29 all over the state. To date, almost 4 million vaccines have been applied in the state of Jalisco, which is really awesome. The state of Nayarit has confirmed that, just as in the case of our own state, all Independence Day celebrations will be virtual this year, just as they were last year. Independence Day in Mexico, as you well know, is celebrated September 15, close to midnight, with a formal ceremony and fireworks, and it is followed by parades, usually military parades, on the following day. This will be, as I mentioned before, the second year in a row in which what is considered Mexico's most symbolic celebration will take place without public. Here in Puerto Vallarta and the rest of the state, Governor Alfaro has announced that there will be absolutely no public celebrations, no fireworks, no nothing. Well, there may be some fireworks, but I don't know. It's a stay-home celebration this year. That's what I'm trying to say. What is happening with our city, with marquees falling down and developments crashing and fires? And now there's another fire that took place at the popular Argentinian Italian restaurant Florio's on Galeana Street in El Centro. There was a fire in the building that mobilized firefighters and other personnel. Fortunately, nobody was injured. The fire was attributed, yes, to a possible short circuit on a wooden den within the restaurant. I happened to walk past Florio's yesterday, and I noticed that there was a sign saying that the restaurant is presently closed. However, you can still enjoy their wonderful cuisine at their Versalles location, and I am sure that the owner, Miguel, would probably benefit from us consuming food at Florio's, because having a fire in your own restaurant can't be a good thing. But again, it's a good thing that nobody was hurt. Moving right along, as we mentioned yesterday or the day before, the Carnival Panorama cruise ship left Puerto Vallarta, but not without leaving behind approximately 5,880,000 pesos in revenue, according to the Secretary of Beach Tourism, Susana Rodriguez. It is expected that another Carnival cruise will visit our destination this coming week, along with additional weekly arrivals from September to December. I went looking for an updated schedule of other cruise ship companies that have scheduled arrivals in Puerto Vallarta for the fall season, and I couldn't find anything that was updated. But I'm sure that within the next few days or weeks, we will be hearing of other cruise companies making arrivals in Puerto Vallarta as well. Back to the vaccines, we've been commenting that turnout for the current vaccination campaign has been not what authorities expected. It's been 4 days since the current vaccination campaign for folks 18 to 29 began, and for which 60,000 doses were set aside. However, to date, after 4 days, only 20,000 individuals have been vaccinated. Vaccination for the age group continues today at La Lija and the Naval Hospital and concludes tomorrow afternoon. Let us hope that between today and tomorrow, as many people as possible will actually take advantage of this and go get vaccinated. So important. Let us turn to the weather just to see what we can expect for the next few days, although we already know that there's a big storm coming, and we'll talk about that a little bit after the break. Yes, let's see what we have. Hey, that cloud looks just like a decapitated body, says our snarky carrot weather. But we don't care about that. We care that it's 27 degrees right now, feels like 30. Our humidity is at 92%, and our temperature in Fahrenheit degrees is 80. As far as the weather forecast, today we can expect rain and humidity through the day with a high temperature of 27, not so hot, and a low temperature of 24. Tomorrow, Saturday, we can expect 30 degrees as the highest and 23 degrees as the lowest. The day will feature rain in the morning and afternoon. And then on Sunday, it's interesting because snarky carrot weather only says that we're going to get rain starting in the afternoon with light and variable winds, with a high temperature of 31, a low temperature of 23, which seems innocent enough. But if we turn over to this chart that I'm going to show you next, I'm not so sure that it's going to be quite simple. You see, this is Nora, the latest tropical hurricane to form in the Pacific Ocean. And as we mentioned yesterday, it is expected to become a hurricane by early Sunday morning, and it is headed right against our doorstep. Check it out. By the time Sunday comes, we will have this hurricane right next to us. So before you get all freaked out, let us take a look at the storm here on the map that shows it more clearly. It is still far away from us. And as it reaches us, it will, let me see, hurricane tracker. There we go. By Sunday, we will be, of course, covered in all kinds of, well, by Sunday, it will have passed us already, according to this map. On Saturday, so between Saturday and Sunday is when it's going to get close to Puerto Vallarta. Now, if we get closer to the map, not that close, Paco, not that close, you will notice that when storms are heading this way, like so, we're usually nicely protected by the lower end of the bay. It is when storms come this way and they're headed inland that we tend to have more damage. So we have a hurricane coming. Is it going to be absolutely horrible? Probably not, but I would not schedule anything on Sunday if I were you, and I would definitely keep a close eye on the weather forecast between today and tomorrow just to make sure that we're going to be okay. And of course, we will be bringing you all kinds of updates if there are any changes for better or for worse as far as Hurricane Nora, which is coming between Saturday and Sunday. So now I'm starting to read some interesting comments, but I'm going to wait until after we talk about our colonia today. Today we are going to discuss Colonia López Mateos, or Adolfo López Mateos. Let me get this set up here, and I think we are good to go. So we start our discussion of Colonia López Mateos with this, because we need to find out why it is called López Mateos. The colonia is named after Adolfo López Mateos, a Mexican politician who became a member of the Institutional Revolutionary Party and was elected president of Mexico. He was born in 1909, died in 1969, and he served as president from 1958 to 1964. So he was my president when I was born. During his term as a president, he nationalized electric companies. He created the National Commission for Free Textbooks, which puts free textbooks in schools, in public schools all over the country. And he opened important museums, such as the Museum of Natural History and the National Museum of Anthropology in Mexico City. We were just discussing this the other day. Let us find out where La Colonia is located, where La López Mateos is located. So here is the Libramiento, and we're headed north. The tunnels are further down on this side. And here is the Colonia. It is flanked primarily by the Libramiento on the left side. On the right-hand side, it is flanked by the hills that surround our city. But most of this is flat land. And although it's definitely an inland neighborhood, you could probably walk to the beach from López Mateos in less than 10 minutes. As you can see in the map, we can see the back end of the stadium here, and we know that the stadium is right in front of the Sheraton. So this is all flat, mostly flat land, so you can walk it very easily. In the map, you can also see some water streams indicated in blue here. That doesn't mean that there are beautiful flowing rivers, as you know. These are water streams or water canals that the city has built so that the water flowing down from the mountains during the rain season finds its way to the ocean in an orderly fashion. Here is one of such canals right next to the Libramiento. And here is another section of the canal further inland. As you can see, the city has recently invested time and resources to improve public spaces. and access by installing pedestrian bridges over the canals. By the way, these photos were taken back in May for our walking tour of the neighborhood. So this time of year, you'd probably see water flowing down the canals constantly. Here's another view of the same spot, and notice how the city has built ramps and not steps at inclined places to make the neighborhood more wheelchair friendly. And here's a look of one of the sidewalks. As you can see, some of the sidewalks may not be as flat or as even as you'd expected. And because there's constantly water coming down from the mountains in this colonia, you can expect that the sidewalks are mostly higher than usual wherever you go. But it is definitely an interesting up and coming colonia. As I mentioned earlier, La López Mateos is flanked primarily by the Libramiento. As we can see here, we are looking south towards the big tunnel, and as you descend from the tunnel, there is one stoplight previous to the one in which I'm standing, and once you access the colonia, you can do so down its main street, which is called Rio de la Plata, or de la Plata River. All streets in this colonia are named after rivers from around the world. The streets are wide, and so are the sidewalks. I suspect that the more gentrified the colonia becomes, the better the sidewalks will become. Also, as you can see from this photograph, well, you may not be able to see it because it's tiny, there is public transportation coming in and out of the colonia down this street. Walking down the main street and others, you will find a fair share of small convenience stores, hardware stores, street stands, ice cream shops, and of course there are all these small eateries all over the place that are waited to be tried. I've walked up and down this main road, and there are taco places and small restaurants that serve comida corrida and such. Some homeowners have created popular eateries in their own sidewalks or garages, such as this Barrio, a restaurant that opens on certain days of the week. They serve birria, which is absolutely yummy. And of course, speaking of eating, one of the main tenants of the colonia is the Vallarta Food Bank, which is located not far from the Libramiento. And at the food bank, dozens of volunteers prepare and serve hot meals for those that cannot afford them. All that is requested is for folks to use a face mask and bring their own containers. Not only is most of the colonia quite flat and easy to walk, but there are virtually no buildings taller than 2 to 3 stories in the colonia. But I wouldn't be surprised if this changes in the next few years. As a shameless plug, I will let you in on the fact that Oculto, the new secret dinner project by Carmen and Claudia, formerly of El Arrayan, is located within Colonia López Mateos. And this is a good thing, and I would like to tell you why. I remember when Memo Wolf opened Barrio Bistro here in Colonia Versalles. And when Memo opened Barrio Bistro, this is close to 10 years ago, Versalles was primarily residential colonia. There were no major restaurants or businesses of any kind. And look at what has happened in the last decade in Colonia Versalles. A lot of restaurants and great eateries have found their home in Colonia Versalles. And with Carmen and Claudia moving in to La López Mateos, they could become a magnet to other eateries, such as Barrio Bistro became in Colonia Versalles. So Colonia López Mateos could easily become a truly interesting colonia in the next few years. I'm really excited about that because it is very centrically located. It's easy to get in and out of it, and I wouldn't think twice to look for an apartment or a small casita there if I was looking for a place to live. And that, my friends, concludes my little presentation about López Mateos. And now we can turn over to your comments just to see what anybody is thinking about. But before we do that, I'd like to remind you that next week, a week from today, we will be discussing Alta Vista. And Alta Vista is located up on the hills of Colonia Emiliano Zapata. I've already found a co pilot to show me around Alta Vista, and that will be our wonderful friend Logan because he lives in Alta Vista. I tried to find somebody to show me around Lopez Mateos, and I didn't find any takers. I did not receive any photographs from viewers of Colonia López Mateos. So we already have a co pilot for Alta Vista. If you live in Alta Vista and you'd like to send us photographs of your neighborhood, please feel free to do that. So now let's take a quick look at what you are thinking about this lovely morning. Albert was or is looking forward to the tour. Thank you very much, Albert. It's great to create these connections for everybody. Let's see what else. Do dee doo dee doo. Ba-dum bum bim bam booga dooga dum bim bam. Um, Amidst all of the sad news of the world, there's happiness sharing Paco's morning show with all of you. Oh, that is such a sweet thought, Stephanie. I'm actually a little blue. A very good friend of mine lost her life to COVID 19 a couple of days ago. She was Leticia Vaca, a very well known PR person here in Puerto Vallarta, and somebody that represented and empowered women very much as she held a couple of official posts within our I'm stumbling in our administration. She was a hardworking woman, a splendid lady, full of great sense of humor, and it is just sad to know that she is gone. Every loss is monumental, but when it's people that are close to you, or people that you know have really devoted their entire lives to give and to be good people, oh, it is so sad. Um, let's see what else. Terry says, did anyone else not get a notification? That is so funny because we're always here at 10:30. Do you guys really need notifications? Maybe you do. What do I know? Let's see what else we have. And I keep saying that all the time, but I need to say it. Carlos keeps flirting with me, and I'm going to flirt back with Carlos just because it makes me feel young. Carlos, you look very handsome today, too. So there. Let's see what else. Ba-dum-bum-bim-bum-bum. Oh dear, Anna. Yes, I hope that Nora is kind to you guys at Punta Perula because you are definitely more exposed than we are because you're out in the open ocean. So I hope this is not your first one, and if it is, just brace yourself. And if it isn't, then um, just be careful out there. Let's see what else we have. Good morning from Lomas del Pedregal, just up the hill from Lopez Mateos. Try Gringo Burger, water chiles, and definitely try tacos de flaco. Thank you very much for Brad. Thank you very much for that, Brad. I will definitely add these places to my list of must tries. Dun, 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 dun. Dave, I this has been such a weird couple of weeks because I don't remember there being so many crazy things going on in this. We've had three fires in downtown Puerto Vallarta in less than 2 weeks, and we've had the landslide in Alta Vista, and we've had all kinds of crazy happenings. Oh, and that billboard that fell down. That yes, the billboard that fell off from that real estate office on Olas Altas yesterday or the day before. Um, let's have dinner at Florio's, everyone. Let's see what else we have. Barbara comments that Holland Cruises is supposed to start in September. I am sure again that we will hear of other cruise lines arriving. Let's see what else. Thank you for the Whiskey Kitchen recommendation. Fantastic. My penis plant walked away. It's actually a small tragedy. Um, the balls. Yesterday, I went out into town and I had some shopping to do. And of course, you know where the penis plant sits. And she sits there, or it sat there to get a little bit of sun in the afternoons and to get some nice breeze. Well, the breeze was a little bit too strong yesterday. I came home to a cracked pair of balls last night. And this makes me very sad because my penis plant was a dear, dear gift from a dear, dear couple of friends. And I'm going to now have to fess up and talk to them and tell them how I killed my penis plant. And that makes me very, very sad. It really does because it was a sweet gift from a friend. At least I have a nice photograph of it. I may try to repurpose the penis itself into something that I can use. Or maybe I'll give it back to my friends. Maybe they will transform it into something else that is beautiful, and I hope they don't hold it against me. I'm a little nervous about Nora. I am a little nervous about Nora as well. Not much so about flooding because thankfully I don't live next to the beach. But if things get windy, it can always get a little tricky to maneuver, Javier. So we will be keeping track of what's going on, and we will definitely keep you up to date with everybody that is going on. With the hurricane, rather. Matthew says, great news. Tia Pera has won her legal battle and will be allowed to continue to operate her taqueria. Yes, I saw that yesterday firsthand. I saw that. Yes, this is good. This is a good thing. I saw that her stand is still there and the taco place is serving tacos next to it. Last night during dinner, we got into a very interesting discussion, and I'm just going to put it out there just for the sake of curiosity. I was telling my friends that I had dinner with that when I walked past the taqueria, I noticed how they had rainbow flags outside of the taqueria, and all the waiters had rainbow face masks on. And of course, we know the rainbow flag is an icon for the gay community or the LGBT community. And we got into an interesting discussion over dinner as to where do you draw the line between businesses that are LGBT owned and cater to the community, and businesses that, in order to cater to the community, they are willing to put gay flags outside of their establishments in order to encourage gay people to shop at their businesses. And I'm not saying that that is a good thing or a bad thing. It is something that happens, but I can't help but to feel like it's a little bit of cultural appropriation. Again, this is not for us to have a big, solid discussion on the fact. I just tell you that because I noticed. Let's see what else we have. Question: was there also a hurricane coming from the east, or did it change direction? Last week there was a hurricane coming from the east. It did its tour through the country, and by the time it reached us, it was just a little bit of fluffy air and rain, and then it went about its business and it disappeared. Tony asks, what happened to the free textbooks program? It's still alive and well. So it is still happening, and this is a wonderful legacy that President López Mateos left. Children all over our country get free textbooks thanks to this achievement by President López Mateos. Let's see what else we have. Terry is saying what I said earlier with different words, but essentially the same thing. We will likely get a lot of rain, but the winds will be held up by the Sierra Madre on the south side of the bay, unless the hurricane changes course and decides to sort of curve into the bay a little bit more. But I don't see that happening according to the forecasts and the projections that we've seen so far. I wonder if we older folks take advantage of the surplus vaccines that the youngers apparently don't want, desperately seeking a first shot. Unfortunately, Marie, it doesn't work that way, and I'm sure that as a local, you know that already. The government decides when to deploy vaccines, and when vaccines are not used, it is up to health officials from the government to determine where the vaccines will be sent next and where they are desperately needed the most. Can I give you an idea of where this colonia is relative to other colonias? I believe I just did by showing it to you on a map, Barbara. And not yesterday, last week we showed you how easily you can go into Google and write the name of the colonia followed by Puerto Vallarta, and Google will show you where the colonia is located. Let's see what else we have. Chabadibadam ba bum bum bum. What? A Canadian friend wanted to rent a very good price renovated apartment building, but they were only available for Mexican people. Oh, okay. Well, I suppose landlords can rent to whomever they choose to rent, but I would find it difficult to believe that a landlord would decline someone from renting just because they're not Mexican. How crazy is that? Mm. Oh, Lopez Mateos was also a real womanizer, and he shamelessly flirted with Jackie Kennedy when the Kennedys visited Mexico. Who wouldn't? She was drop dead gorgeous. Um, Meggie, as in Peggy, wants to share an Instagram channel, or Instagram account. Absolutely no problem with that, Meggie. By all means, feel free to share your photographs with whomever you like. Is the Luz del Mundo Church in Lopez Mateos, or am I turned around? It is right next to it, Javier. Let me, as long as we're talking about the map and all that stuff, let me do my quick demonstration. This mini segment is called, you can Google it yourself. I'm going to maps.google.com. And as I mentioned earlier, if you type Lopez Mateos, Puerto Vallarta, it'll show you the colonia. And there it is. Now, if you look at this closely, you will see that the Luz del Mundo Church is here, right above the colonia. So it is not in the colonia per se. And this, of course, lets you see how the colonia is flanked by Mariano Otero over here, Lázaro Cárdenas over here, Bugambilias over here, Pedregal over here, La Herradura over here. So this is how easily you can find this information on Google. Isn't Google wonderful? Let's see what else. I already answered that. Um, Dun 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 dun. Bada boom bim bam badam bam bam. Yes, she was a lovely lady. In fact, she and I originated a joke that I continue to use all the time, and I may have used this here in the broadcast at one point or another. Uh, Leticia Vaca had such a great sense of humor. She had the most ginormous breasts implanted. She was one of those voluptuous, full of life women, and I used to joke with her because her breasts were so pronounced that I used to say to her, "You should name them," and and uh, and she asked me, "Well, what would I name my boobies?" And I said to her, "Well, you should call them Punta and Mita." And we just laughed. And this happened about 9 years ago, or maybe longer. And ever since then, every single time I would run into her, either she would say to me, "Punta and Mita send their regards," or I would say to her, "Please send my regards to Punta and Mita." And now she's gone, which is very, very sad. Uh, let's see what else we have. Yes, the penis plant was castrated. So sorry about your balls. You guys are too funny. Can I reroot the plant in water? I am working on that, actually. I have it back in the laundry room just to see what we can do about that. Uh, I don't know, Mike. Can you revive your penis plant with some Viagra and let us know how it goes? I'm not giving my plant any Viagra. Uh, Repurpose your penis. Don't we all? I mean, duh. Let's see what else happens here. Da 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 da. Bum ba da bum 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 da 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 da. Oh yes, of course, Javier Mendoza. Uh, Thankfully shows us let me google that for you.com, which is, have we talked about this website here? There's this website online. It's actually called lmgtfy.com. When your friends insistently ask you what is the answer to this or what is the answer to that, you go into this website and it shows you an animation of how everybody or anybody could go look for information on their own. But you save that only to instances in which you want to be snarky. Meggie, as in Peggy, shares her account of beautiful Instagram photos. Meggie in Vallarta. Actually, let's go take a look. I'm going to. Can I do that? We're gonna go. What's the term? We're going to go troll your Instagram account. Meggie, as in Peggy, Instagram.com. Meggie in Vallarta. A ver, let us take a look at Meggie, as in Peggy's Instagram account. Why not? There is Meggie, as in Peggy, travel industry professional, uploading photos from my previous visits to Puerto Vallarta while waiting to be able to safely travel again. Let's see what we got. Oh, what do you mean I have to log in? Okay, I'm not going to do that now. But looky, beautiful hotels, cruise ship, condos. Okay, Maggie, you got to give us more meat here. So we're going to be looking forward to more photographs on your channel as you keep adding them. Let's see what else we have. Uh-oh. Did I get snarky? Slide just wrote, Tómala. I don't mean to get snarky. Yes, I do. Why not? Let's see what else. However, Google is not always correct about the boundaries of a colonia or their placement, so it's good as a rough guide. This is a very good point from Catherine, who is constantly debating the city as to whether she should have her construction permits properly updated or not, because Catherine is one of those people that, as I understand it, is registered in one colonia but listed in another, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, Google is not perfect, and Google Maps certainly is not perfect, so I appreciate that comment. Let's see what else. Yes, punta and mita. I still use that joke whenever I see people with sexy breasts or sexy balls. I always say, "Ooh, nice to meet you." So it is a nice thing. Sweaty balls. It takes one to know one. I can't believe I just said that. No, 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 no. Okay, let's see what else we have. As long as we're wishing, I wish they would use a mobile vaccine vehicle like some other places in the world. Then the younger crowd would get vaccinated without risk of losing their job. Wishing is allowed. Uh, Wishing is allowed, absolutely. And of course, we have reached. We Matthew says, now I'm intrigued by the Colonia without a name, right next to the Luz del Mundo church. Yes, I noticed that. That there's a nameless Colonia. I wonder if they call it, I live at Colonia, no name, or how they deal with it. I have no idea. But I'm intrigued about that as well. Anyhow, this has been Coffee and Headlines for Friday. That would be today. And that means that the broadcast is almost over, but not without thanking you once again for another week, another day of company, of inquiry, of curiosity, of laughter, of hope, and of ruffled feathers, and of sense of humor, and all the usual things that we share here. It's part of the package. Have a great weekend. We'll be back tomorrow with updated information about Nora, the tropical storm that we know will become a hurricane at some point in the future. How much we're going to suffer from it remains to be seen, but come back tomorrow. We'll give you an update. Between now and then, have a really, really awesome beginning of the weekend.